We need a stick-up man, you know one?
Hey, Tommy, this stuff keeps you sharp, man. Woo! I could be your stick-up man. Stick 'em up, stick 'em up!
You ain't a stick-up man, you're an idiot. Now get yourself a drink and shut up.
Hey, get out of my way! Yeah, ow.
Relax.
Cam, what do you think?
Well, the best shooter in this town is a guy named Cassidy.
Is that so?
Yeah, a military guy, or thinks he is. I doubt he was ever in the army, but he certainly knows how to get a hold of guns. He'll be down at the shooting range.
So in this mission, we're going to be heading on down to the ammunition to meet a man named Phil Cassidy, and we've actually met this character before in a previous Grand Theft Auto game, in Grand Theft Auto 3, because the character Ray gives you a mission in which you have to help out a one-armed Phil, and you get a bit backstory to Phil, although that backstory is being retconned in this game and in Vice City Stories when we see Phil again. Spoiler alert, but either way though, speaking with Phil really makes me feel like a true American.
You Phil Cassidy?
Why?
I'm looking for a man who can handle a gun. From this setup, I'm not too convinced.
Son, I can shoot a fly off your head at 80 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I learned it in the Army.
Fly shooting real popular in the Army? Glad I don't pay tax.
You trying to be funny, kid? Let's shoot!
So we've got a bit of a mad bastard on our hands with Phil Cassidy, and I like in that cutscene there how it seems that Phil gains this instant respect for Tommy for not being intimidated by his own antics, you know, that he's throwing the gun around, being crazy, doing all these weird voices. I mean, Gary Busey does a fantastic job of voicing Phil. We do have other versions of Phil that don't have Gary Busey's voice, but really it's just a perfect match there. And for those of you who don't know, Gary Busey was in the Lethal Weapon movie there in 1987. Although maybe the younger folk might know Gary Busey from the Amazon Fire TV stick commercial, in which he is also a mad bastard there, so pick your poison. But either way, he's phenomenal here in Vice City Stories. But either way, what we're doing here is truly gaining Phil's respect by completing the ammunition firing range challenge that begins with these moving targets. And what I like to do is ignore the front one for the most part, because you can see for the front one, I'm not destroying the head of it. You see it's just moving back and forth, that head. And the reason for it is because you only get 1 point for destroying the front one. You get 2 points for the second one, and 3 points for the furthest one in the back. So why waste your ammunition and time shooting that 1.1 when you could just keep going back and forth between the 2 and 3.1? So that's my strategy in quotes there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff. You got plenty of time to get the 60-point requirement, and in fact, we're going to get it here during this shooting range challenge, the second out of 3. And I quite like this challenge because you can see here that we have cardboard cutouts of Misty and Donald Love from Grand Theft Auto 3, and I wonder how that's explained in canon, but I suppose it's more of an Easter egg than anything else and shouldn't be taken as something that would be canon, so it's just kind of there as a bit of a little treat for the player, those of you familiar with Grand Theft Auto 3, which is funny because Phil is from Grand Theft Auto 3, so I suppose if you know the game, you're going to know all these different little things here in this mission. But either way, moving on to the third one, the more challenging one, in which we have moving targets, again, of those cardboard cutouts, so it's a bit more annoying to deal with, and because we already had the 60 points, we can leave that challenge, pressing the square button, and ignore it completely and move on with the mission. So now we're going to talk to Phil. Yeah.
So, you want to do me a favor and help me put together a job?
Son, after shooting like that, if you asked me to be your wife, I'd say yes.
Ooh, I suppose that's really good to know, Phil. And fortunately, we'll be seeing more of Phil Cassidy in the future. Our time with him has only just begun. And that completes this part. In the next part, we'll be doing the mission called The Driver. So until then, I will see you next time.